here today with Palma Lindsay. Palma is a teacher of transitional kindergarten and kindergarten in Newhall, California, near Magic Mountain. And she also has a great blog, KFUNdamentals, at kfundamentals.blogspot.com. Welcome, Palma.
Welcome, thank you.
It's so exciting that we're here actually in front of some of the artwork from your school. Here at the kindergarten conference, there's artwork from a lot of different teachers, but yours really stands out as being super cute. Can you tell us about this project that you did?
Sure. This is from actually my favorite blog post. I believe it was December 14th. I blogged about how I gave the children just the basic pieces for Olaf. The head and the torso and the abdomen and the little feet. They got that, but then I also gave them 15 cents. I gave it to them in pennies, and they had to buy the other parts for the snowman. And they had a menu, so there are different kinds of eyes, pom-pom eyes or Google eyes, and they were all different prices. Carrot nose, a mouth, teeth, and they could use the pom-poms for anything. This child chose to use it as a ball in his twig arms, and they had to spend all 15 cents, which some of the children were like, oh, could I just not spend it all, save some for next time? No, you're going to spend all 15 cents. And so what you end up with is get artwork that is unique to that child. Everybody has an Olaf, but everybody's Olaf looks different because they spent their money differently. And they are composing and decomposing in their heads. Composing when they start adding up how much money they're going to spend, and decomposing when they change their mind and say, ooh, I don't have enough money for that, so maybe I should return this piece and so I can buy something more expensive. Problem solving,
yeah.
And I like it because it makes it's not a cookie cutter art project. Everybody's looks different, and it's integrating math with art. And I think if you integrate subjects, you get more bang for your buck. You get you're a more efficient teacher, and it makes learning fun. I mean, how much fun was this to learn addition while you're making Olaf?
Oh, that's great! And what a great time to have kids start learning about having a budget too, working with a budget. Cool. So thinking about when you have parents coming into the school for the first time, it's their first time in the school system. What advice would you give to parents about how to be the best partner with the teacher?
Excellent. Well, number one is to check your child's backpack every day, because that's my primary way to communicate. And now I'm finding out that there are better ways to communicate, which I'm excited about. But and also to relax. Allow your child to enjoy school and look for the good in everything that they bring home. So if they bring home a paper, instead of saying, oh my goodness, this is messy, you could do better than this, point out, if you think messiness is the problem, point out one letter, one word where they wrote very neatly, and bring that to their attention. Raise their level of consciousness about that neat letter, that neat word. The next time that child goes back to school and they go down, sit down and write, they're going to think about neatness. But only do it in a positive way. So I think just find the good in everything. And then they'll also want to share with you what's in their backpack, because they know they're going to get some praise that day. And then you get to see everything that's in the backpack.
Oh, that's great. And thinking about child's handwriting, what do you think should be the parents' what should be the parents be doing to really focus on handwriting? Is that something that maybe they should leave it to the teacher, so they don't teach them the wrong way?
Well, it really is good to learn proper letter formation and proper pencil grip. However, we can't just leave it all for the school. So what I tell parents, especially preschool children and transitional kindergarten children, is to develop those fine motor skills, develop the muscles with fine motor activities like modeling clay that is difficult to press. I even have my students, when they're cutting things out, to take their scrap and fold it as many times as they can. Not only does that keep the trash down in the trash can, but it exercises the muscles in their fingers. Lacing cards, little Legos, anything small will develop their fingers. In terms of learning how to write, they can start with something big like a paintbrush and water on the playground to write letters, because they're learning the formation. You could even have them do it in the air in front of them, especially if they're crossing their midline while they're writing in the air. It really activates the brain. But in terms of writing with a pencil, they do get quite a bit of that at school, and you don't want it to be too much at home and then at school. So I would vary it. Also, if they are printing at home, I would recommend a fine tip marker, because it's easier to write with a fine tip marker than it is. It resists less than a pencil on paper.
Okay, good. Thinking about teachers communicating with parents? If they're a new teacher, what, not necessarily what tools, but what kinds of guidelines would you give to teachers about what they should be telling parents about?
Teacher will absolutely, before you make any contact of concern, I would always make one phone call at the beginning of the year, introduce yourself, and tell them something positive about their child. So their first contact is positive. You don't want that first contact to be, do you know what your child did today? In a negative way. And then I also keep an old, like a phone book, like that you used back in the day when we used to write names and phone numbers in a book, because it's got little alphabetized pages, and I write each student's name in there, their contact information, any important facts, they're allergic to peanuts, whatever. Anytime I contact that parent, whether it be sending them a note or making a phone call, I document it in that phone book. So I use one a year. In the spring, when this child does something wonderful or not so wonderful, I can look back at all of the documentation. Oh goodness, I contacted her about hitting here in September and hitting here in October, and now it's March and we're hitting. And so I've got the documentation. Or something positive. Your child started printing really nicely, and now they're writing words, and now they're writing sentences. You can put any kind of documentation in that, not just your parent contact, but any other observations.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah. If you could wave a magic wand and have one thing for teachers, what would you have? I think that time would be it. But to get the time, I would reduce class sizes. If you can reduce class sizes and I can get to every child and really look them in the eye when I'm working with them and really sit with them one-on-one or two-on-one, that's when I did a project like this. I did this 2 children at a time. One person did it with me and the other one watched. And so that second one was ready to do it. And the first person went and got me the third person, who then came and sat down and watched. If you reduce class size, I can teach you everything you need to learn. That would give me the time, because time is really what I would wave the magic wand for. But instead of extending the day or extending the school day or extending the Earth's day, I would reduce class size. That's the number one thing I think that would help teachers at every grade level. And last question. If there's any new kindergarten teachers out there watching first year, what's the one piece of advice you would give to them?
Excellent. Collaborate. Collaborate with your peers. I definitely would find out who else is on your team or close in maybe you're the only kindergarten teacher, so maybe find the first grade teacher and say, what are you doing for the first day of school? What are you doing for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday? What are you doing for language arts on this particular day? And then offer, and not just take what they're doing, but say, that is a great idea. Could I run this for both of us? So offer your services in exchange for some ideas. Because if you try to do it all, every curricular area, for every student for your whole first year, you will burn out before the year is over. So collaborate. You've got this professional learning community right there at your school, people who've done this, they know it works. Use those resources and then offer your assistance, offer your help to them.
Cool. That's wonderful, Palma. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.